Once upon a time, there was a very, very small mouse. And perhaps you're thinking, well, all mice are small, and that is true. But this mouse was even small for a mouse. The other mice he knew didn't bully him or put him down, but he did find that it was difficult to get along in mouse society being the size that he was. It was much harder to scurry up difficult countertops and pantry shelves, and if he did find a delicious morsel of food, he couldn't carry as much back as other mice could. And he considered just living life as a normal but relatively small mouse, carving out a modest living for himself. He thought about that. But one night, he was reading a novel called Treasure Island. And you may be thinking, well, how did he read it? If he's reading a regular-sized book, it would be huge, and a mouse would have a very hard time reading it, scurrying all over the pages, and a small mouse even more so. But as it happens, there's another book called Treasure Island, written by mice for mice. And it has a relatively similar plot, largely due to coincidence. As it turns out, when pirates were very much in vogue in our world, so too were they in vogue in the mouse world. And as great minds do often think alike, there was indeed a mouse author who wrote a Mouse Treasure Island. Of course, she didn't call it Mouse Treasure Island. She just called it Treasure Island. We don't call it Human Treasure Island. The point is that our little mouse was reading Treasure Island. And much like so many young human children are swept up in the adventure of Human Treasure Island, so too did this tiny mouse become enamored with the thrills and dangers of adventure, of seeking treasure, meeting strange new people, risking it all for glory. And the mouse decided, no, I will not live a common life of a small little mouse. I will leave and I will seek my fortune. And in the quiet cover of night, he wrote his parents a small little note explaining where he had gone, and he crept out of the cellar where he and the other mice lived. He climbed up and up and up all the way to the roof of the building that they lived in, and he looked out over the roofs of the city, the glittering skyline of the towers beyond, the quiet glow of the village houses below. He looked to the west, to the shore, where two fishermen were dragging up their haul for the day, getting ready to clean them so they'd be ready for market tomorrow. He peered into a small cottage where a seamstress was hard at work, working on the latest fashion of the day, shoes and garments, baubles and necklaces. He scurried down and looked in the window of an office, where a young woman was toiling away, burning the proverbial midnight oil, managing finances, logistics, advertising budgets. Who could say this mouse didn't know anything about business? And the mouse saw all of these people trying to carve out their lives, each of them different, each of them with their own challenges, each of them just trying to get through this mess of a life and make something that they could be proud of. And the mouse realized that he did not have to go on a great voyage to a desert island to find adventure. He did not have to meet pirates and strange, fantastical, legendary people on a quest. The realization hit him like a firecracker, bang, right in his face. He was surrounded by adventure all the time. Outside of his little cellar was a whole world, not far away, but right here. So many things he could be, so many lives he could live. And so the little mouse crawled back inside and went down to the cellar, ripped up the note he had left for his parents. And as he curled up to sleep in his nest of newspaper and string and cotton, he knew that he did not have to choose between the modest life of a small mouse and the adventurous life of a pirate. He could have it all. He could have something else entirely. It was all right here. The